She's back! Hello everybody and welcome to episode 2 of my trip to New Zealand and all things New Zealand and things I did and recommendations. Today, we're talking about activities. We're talking about the top 4 things I did on my trip. And this was hard to pick. I did a lot of things. So here's the top 4. There's many more. I can talk a lot about it, to be honest. So let's get into it. First up, we have the Mitai Maori village experience that I did in Rotorua. So this is a cultural evening experience. It lasts about 3 hours. And what you do is you have a little opening ceremony and then you're taken down to a river. You see a war canoe, which is called a waka. You see that in action. You then go back to the dining hall where you have a meal, which is a traditional Maori meal. The food was delicious, especially as a backpacker who didn't eat properly for 3 months. Oops. There's also a Q&A session where you can ask anything you want about Maori culture. There's a show which is so insightful. You also get to walk around the ancient village and see the sacred spring. And also there are glowworms there, which if like me you don't like caves, you get to see glowworms. So that was really cool. This experience, it's 3 hours long and it cost me 155 New Zealand dollars and it's definitely worth the money. Next is another experience on the North Island in Rotorua, which was ziplining. You may think, Sally, ziplining? What? Who does ziplining? Me. I do, apparently. I went to the tourism office on I just had this free day in Rotorua and I was like, what can I do? And they said, you could do some ziplining. Sign me up. I almost didn't do this because it was quite expensive, but it honestly was one of my trip highlights. Like, it was so well done. It was so simple, but just so wonderful. So this was with Rotorua Canopy Tours and they were just absolutely lovely. So they picked me up from my hostel. I was the only person who got picked up because we were in a very small group. That was like really nice as well, is like we were only a group of 6 or 7, so it was like very intimate and chill and you got to ask lots of questions, and I'm getting ahead of myself. So they picked me up and then we got geared up and we drove to one of New Zealand's only remaining native forests, and as a nature lover it was just gorgeous. It was so pretty. I literally felt like I was in a fairy tale, and there was all kinds of colored mushrooms, which was cool. I saw orange, red and blue mushrooms, and tour guides were like, wow, like you guys came at a good time because like these mushrooms only pop out certain time of the year. What? How lucky am I to see them? And so what you do is you have like a little bit of a walk through the forest, you then zip line, have a little walk, do a bit of zip lining again, and you don't have to do anything, you don't have to worry about anything as someone on the do everything and they just say, okay, off you go. It was so fun, so good, so adrenaline-y, but like not crazy. So you also learn like a lot about conservation and the area and the flora and the fauna, and we got to feed one of the native birds, which you're not allowed to do, but that company has the only special license. I'm pretty sure it's the only one. That's what they said. They have like a special license to feed the birds. I'll play the clip. I'll play the clip right now. It was so cool. Yeah, I know. Amazing. The thing you're all wondering, how much was this? So I did the original Canopy tour. They have like another one, which I think is the ultimate tour. It's a bit longer. This was 179 New Zealand dollars. I know. But that's because we're in the native forest. Right, number 3. These are not in any like order of my favorite, by the way. They're just great. They're all great. So number 3 is the Tongariro Alpine Crossing, which is a really popular day hike in the North Island near Taupo. I'm making a whole other video just about the Tongariro Alpine Crossing, so I'm not actually going to give you a lot of detail. Sorry guys, you'll have to wait and see the other video. But what I can tell you is it is beautiful if you get a gorgeous sunny day like I was lucky enough to have. This cost me about 132 New Zealand dollars, just under, and that was mainly just for the shuttle because you get dropped off super early, do the hike, and then you get picked up at a different spot. It's not like a loop. You hike to somewhere else and get picked up there, and if you don't have a car, then obviously you don't want to be left in the middle of nowhere, so you need to pay for a shuttle, and then you also need to factor in bringing enough food, water, and if you need to buy any like clothes. So I bought like an extra pair of leggings and I had to buy a jacket because I'd spent 2 months in Australia where it was really hot, and then in New Zealand it was a bit cooler, so I bought a jacket for the whole trip. Just like some extra costs you will probably have to think about. Number 4, guys, like what? What even? Skydiving. And I am someone, and the people who know me will agree that I've said this. I have always said I can die happy without skydiving. Because why would I put myself through the anxiety? Well, I did. I skydived in the Bay of Islands on my first day of the Kiwi experience with a bunch of strangers I'd never met before on my birthday. Now, I'd like to thank the Kiwi experience bus driver for convincing me to do this, because instead I was gonna go horse trekking. Because I'm a nature girly, I wanted to see the horses and trek through the forest. No, I got convinced to do a skydive, and I was like, you know what? It's my birthday. This is feels like divine intervention. I've met this wonderful group of people. At the time, they were strangers. They convinced me to do the skydive. We signed up for the 12,000 foot one. There was a 9,000 and a 15,000 as well. But anything above 12, I think it was anything above 12, you need an oxygen mask. And I was like, this is scary enough. I just think about the fact that I've done a skydive and it doesn't feel real. The scariest bit was doing the safety briefing and signing waivers and all that. If you get the chance, just do it, honestly. And also when you're backpacking, everyone is skydiving. But guys, don't get me wrong, it was very scary. It's very dangerous. Now, this was my most expensive activity that I did in New Zealand. It was 309 New Zealand dollars for the 12,000 foot jump. But on top of that, I got the platinum video and photo package, where someone literally jumps out of the plane with you to take videos and photos of you, which was sick. I felt so cool having my own photographer. Video package was more expensive than the skydive itself. That was $325. So yeah, you do the math, it's a lot. But I just thought, I'm probably only gonna do this experience once. I'm gonna document it properly and just go all out. And also it was my birthday, so. Okay, so those were my top 4 activities in New Zealand. As I said, I could talk about so many other things that I did, and I will, so subscribe. Any questions about any of the activities, pop them in the comments, or follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Give me a DM, whatever. As I said, my Tongariro Alpine Crossing video is coming out in a little bit, probably next week, maybe, we'll see. Yeah, alright, I will talk to you in a little bit. Goodbye!